Yeah. Some people write out a word to define and align with at the beginning of every year. It helps us mark off time. For me, this annual practice turned into a seasonal practice and then morphed into an almost daily reflection. A meditation of the lessons learned and revelations received throughout this romance we call life. I've always said music is my therapy. It might sound cliche, but the emotions that might have been buried just a little too deep are effortlessly touched and drawn out by the most powerful celestial tool we have access to: song. Fast forward a few years to when I started taking my poetry and my piano dabbling a little bit more seriously. I picked up and moved to Seattle, a meager 52-hour drive from my stomping grounds of DC. A couple years into learning production from scratch, I put out a few singles to mark off my time spent and to witness to my musical growth. My first album in my public artistry was aptly labeled Slowly, which spoke of a lesson learned throughout that process. Contentedness versus complacency. There's a balance we learn within our revelations. This manifested as a declarative I still often struggle to accept. Real growth takes time, and often more time than we would like. I realize my impatience and need for self-validation robbed me of the beauty and joy of experiencing the process for what it was. There's an incredible story about a horse and a boy who get lost in the woods, and the boy is disheartened because he cannot see the way out. The horse asks him, "Can you at least see your next step?" And the boy replies, "Yes." And the horse responds calmly, "Then just take that step." I probably just underdeserved that story immensely, but the idea sticks with me in a way that is so freeing. We cannot know how the journey will play out, but the freedom is found in the perspective we choose to take alongside that revelation. Tomorrow could be anything. How exciting. If I were you, I would want to fill tomorrow with all the things that bring me joy and fill my life with peace. If I would do that for tomorrow, why not today? Into remembering. Cue my recent artistry. I know artists give a part of themselves away with their creativity we put out into the world. It's vulnerable and it's telling. It's uncomfortable turning your insides out and exposing your inner mind and heart for the world to judge. Maybe I'm making my artistry into something bigger than it is. Maybe I shouldn't take life too seriously. But my plea for you today is to indulge me for just a few moments more. Step into my world while I impart my humble strivings throughout the only tool I know how to use. If You Want is the first page of a new chapter in my romantic life, a new lesson learned, or I guess a new lesson in the process of being learned, of being remembered. Life is chaotic and unpredictable. Life is never what we make it out to be, but that is precisely what makes it exciting, if we only took the time to slow down and remember. My song, If You Want, featuring Claire Julia, comes out Friday, March 18th, 2022. Please give it a listen. If you love it, if you hate it, DM me. I'd be so happy to hear your thoughts. I hope it brings some peace in your chaos and helps steady your mind like it did for me. Thank you.
That sounds much better.
Yeah, that was a lot better.